Hello, it's Mo back in Matthew's Friends Keto Kitchen on the cooking channel, and very shortly Easter will be here, so I thought you may like a few ideas of what you can do at Easter time. I know it can be a bit of a trial with all the chocolate around, but we'll show you that you can get through it quite successfully. And today I'm going to make some hot cross buns, and the recipe is using MCT oil, but you can make hot cross buns to the classical ratio, and if you go on the Matthew's Friends site you'll find recipes there. So for today, hot cross buns MCT, and because it's MCT you can use some flour, which is good. For the classical, of course, you don't get to use the flour. Very rarely anyway, you'll be using coconut powder. So just make sure you get all the flour out. And then there's another flour, and that's Tiana. It's mentioned in the store cupboard. You can't use it very easily on the classical diet, but on MCT you can. I'll just show you the packet to refresh your memory. That is the Tiana coconut flour. Now it does have more carb than coconut powder, but it's a lovely fine flour, as you can see, and it lends itself nicely for baking. Now into the flour you'll need some flavouring, and of course hot cross buns means spicy. I'm using ground cinnamon today. You can use mixed spice, and the choice is yours. Cinnamon is nice in a bun, and have a nice helping of it. That's about half a teaspoonful, but you can use a quarter if you prefer. And just give that a quick stir to make sure it's all in there. Get the two flours combined with the spice. Now this is a complete meal for the MCT, but of course, as you know, you have to work to your own ratios. Now the next thing to go in is raisins. There's only 4 grams of raisins. It may look like more to you. That's because I've soaked them in a little warm water first, chopped them, then soaked them in a little warm water. It doesn't take long, but it plumps them up and makes them juicier, because raisins can be a little bit dry. So they just go in. Just give them a stir so they get coated in the flour. Now this is the MCT oil. So that goes in. Along with egg. It's quite a lot of egg, which is good, because egg also helps buns and cakes to rise. Just scrape it down and make sure that you've got it all out. Now that's the liquid, but you also need some sweetening, and good old liquid hermesitas, and you'll need a good squirt of that. say up to about half a teaspoon. But you can be as generous as you like if you want a nice sweet bun. And just give that a good mix. Now it looks very wet at the moment. It is a wet mixture, but the Tiana flour swells in liquid more than normal flour. So it does thicken up a little bit before you actually cook it. But just make sure you've scraped all the flour from the bottom of the bowl. You see that's quite a gloopy mixture. The Tiana has done its work, and that's really quite thick now, and that's soaked up the oil. So we're ready to start cooking them, and I like to make this. This is a recipe for a main meal, but of course if you make two, then you'll end up with two snacks, which for hot cross buns I think is ideal. They're absolutely fantastic for a packed lunch as well. So we have those, the faithful spray, just to give it a little squirt. Probably doesn't always need it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. You don't want to lose half the bun at the bottom of the tin when you get it out the oven. And just to make sure that that little bit of oil is even, these little spatulas are brilliant. Saves your fingers. Just swish it around. So, you're ready to put it in. They're in the oven, and while they're cooking, I'd just like to talk about Easter a bit. I mean, Easter egg hunts obviously feature. There are ways around including the ketogenic diet in, and one of the ideas are fat bombs, of course, good old fat bombs. Make them in these shapes. There you've got little baby Easter egg and ducks. We've got some hearts there. You can make rabbits. And each one of those is just a little treat. Obviously you will have to do your calculation when you make it, but these are mainly made from cocoa butter, and that is 100% fat, and you can have it out of the fridge for quite a while before it starts to melt, which is good. Some keto chocolate you have to keep it in the fridge and have to eat it as soon as you get it out. So you could include these in an Easter egg hunt for a child, but of course, as always, do your calculations and check with your dietitian. But I'm sure that for a treat, the fat bombs are a good idea. Now, if you're going off on a family picnic or your child is going to a party, you can get little party boxes like these, and in there you can have some fat bombs and a hot cross bun for a snack. That would be good, or the equivalent of the hot cross bun. And then as an extra treat for the keto child, then a little toy. And a little fella like this, I'm sure would be more than welcome. And that would make them smile and make them forget about the fact that they haven't got a great big chocolate Easter egg. So I hope you like those ideas. I'll get the buns ready and show you how to use the butter, which is the last ingredient on this, and there'll be 2 ways of doing it, and hopefully you'll like my tip. So there we are, the buns are cooked and cooled. You see we've got 2. That is how I'm going to serve it, because as you can see that upside down it looks more like a hot cross bun. That way up it's more like a muffin. Just turn it upside down and it's got the look of a bun. And because it's traditional to have a cross, you could put a cross on with a little Natvia icing, because that would be free, so that would be good. But these are served with butter, so you don't have to be too artistic about this, but just get your butter and literally just make a couple of strips. The first time I did this, I was cutting it into all sorts of little pieces and piecing it together, but it's not really necessary. This is just to show that there's you've got a little cross on a hot cross bun. It's not over artistic, but you don't want it to be. It's just a cross. You can make that look as nice as you like. That's my best effort today, but I think you'll agree that it's fine, just to give a hint that it's a hot cross bun. And of course when you come to serve it, you can leave it like that or spread it over. Now that, if you're going to be taking this somewhere in the lunch box, that might be just a step too far, or it might be a step too far for you anyway. In which case, just cut it through the middle and sandwich it together with the spread butter, and then it will be much easier to handle. But maybe for an older child, this is not my best effort, but it shows you that you can put a cross on the bun.